Dedicated to local news, this is 44 News. We begin tonight with a breaking news alert.
Breaking news at this hour. Just before the new year, firefighters across the tri-state are working to put out a monstrous fire in Evansville. As they work the scene, a pillar of black smoke has left a dark cloud over the River City for the majority of the day. What we know now, as the call for the fire came in around 10:30 this morning. This is all occurring at the commercial building on North Garvin near Tennessee Street. Now, 44 News was first on the scene tonight. We are working to learn the cause behind the flames. We have team coverage at this hour. 44 News evening anchor Brian Miller is live to break down everything we know at this time. Brian?
Good evening, Joe. Hello again, Tri-State. Here we are on the scene of this massive fire, and what a difference just a couple of minutes made when it comes to what we're about to show you right now. I'm going to step out of the way and just go ahead and paint a picture of this scene. Just moments ago, there was flames shooting up in the air behind us. Then a truck came with the ladder, shot water down on it. It basically rained a combination of wet ash all over us just about 3 minutes before we came live. Centerpoint crews, if you pan just a little bit back to the left, I'm sorry here, Centerpoint crews, where we were just looking at, they were just down the road here about 50 feet from us. They were going from pole to pole, working on getting these wires back in correct working order tonight. This is an all hands on deck situation for Centerpoint Energy, for the Evansville Fire Department, and for the Evansville Police Department, not only to mention the crews from out of this jurisdiction as well. We're told as many as 14 other fire crews have come out to assist here tonight, and we're talking about this historical, massive, mostly brick building where the fire chief said there was plastic burning inside of it. That's just one of the major challenges fire crews faced out here tonight. They have things blocked off for several blocks all around this area, and as those fire crews continue to put water on these flames, they're going to be out here for many more hours, certainly through this new year. One of the major issues that they're having was the amount of water that had to be used for this fire. Now, if you recall, just a few months ago, back in October, firefighters responded to what at the time they called the largest fire in the city's history. They dumped hundreds of thousands of gallons of water on that fire. Tonight, they're doing much the same. Water was always an issue. Here's what the fire chief had to say earlier about that issue in particular.
They brought in some tankers with extra water for us to try and help us with that water supply issue.
All right, so as crews continue to work on this throughout the night, it is likely to be one of those things where they're going to be monitoring hotspots once they get all the flames out. I can only describe what I've seen here over about the past hour and a half. Let's bring on 44 News reporter Josh Myers, because we were first on the scene today. Josh leading that charge here. And Josh, I can only imagine the sights, the sounds, the smells that have changed throughout the night. Go ahead and walk us through what you saw as you approached here this morning, as this fire was called in right around 10:30.
Yeah, well, Brian, when I first walked out of the station after getting the call, I immediately could see this huge pillar of black smoke. And so I pretty much just followed that all the way here. And when I got here, it was a somewhat chaotic scene. First responders had been on the scene for a while, but they were still, you could tell they were still getting in position. There was a steady stream of fire engines coming in. They were hooking up fire hoses to get there, to transfer water to the fire engines that were actually dousing down the fire, and they were up on their fire ladders over the fire. But they did very much so have a defensive posture, so they were mostly focusing on on dousing nearby buildings and spraying down houses so that the fire wouldn't spread to other structures. And as all that was going on, there was a steady stream of people coming out of their homes to the side of the street to watch the fire, and I took that opportunity to speak to a few of them.
I heard a big explosion. It sounded like an explosion. I didn't know where it was coming from or what. And the next thing I know, I see flames coming shooting from this building, and fire department and everything comes rushing through as I hear this big explosion.
Those flames are what crews are working to control. Firefighters have begun defensive measures to keep the fire from spreading to other surrounding areas by spraying houses across the street from the fire with water constantly. Thankfully, they were able to save a nearby business that was in the path of the fire, but residents in the area are finding themselves without power.
This morning I woke up and none of the lights in my house worked, so then I go look out the window with my friend, and she's like, we could see the flames like coming through the smoke, and it's just like the smoke is going into the clouds.
We received reports from several other neighborhood residents that they had lost power, and we did observe CenterPoint personnel on scene. But as crews work to put out the fire, we know power will remain off until further notice. We are remaining in contact with the Evansville Fire Department to keep you updated with the latest details. They did release a statement warning residents about the air quality, so if you do live in this area, make sure your doors and windows are sealed properly. Reporting live in Evansville, Josh Myers, 44 News.
Thank you, Josh and Brian. Now, as Josh mentioned, due to the fire, CenterPoint Energy has been called to turn off power in the surrounding area. As of right now, around 60 people are still in the dark. The outages go from North Evans Avenue to East Florida Street up to Stringtown Road. We're working to learn when residents can expect to get their power back. Now let's take a look ahead on what crews are doing as we head into the overnight. Crews will continue to be at the scene with EPD patrolling the area and directing traffic elsewhere. ATF is also on the scene. They will take over the investigation into the cause of the fire. The state fire marshal will have more people on the scene starting on Monday. Now, local fire departments aren't the only ones assisting in putting the fire out. When we spoke to Division Chief Mike Larson, he told us the fire could have easily spread farther than it already had. Semi-trailers full of plastic would have made this already difficult fire into a nearly impossible job.
There were about a dozen semi-trailers that had about 40,000 pounds of plastic pellets each in them. Tri-State Towing and Recovery were assisting pulling those trailers away from the building. That's probably over 500,000 pounds of plastic pellets. If those would have caught fire, would have been a huge mess.
The American Red Cross is also assisting firefighters by providing them with water and food as they continue to fight the blaze into the night. Now take a look at this. The black clouds you see covered the majority of the River City today, leading to the question, is it affecting our air quality? According to Chief Larson, the smoke will remain in the area for the time being and isn't healthy to breathe. Residents near the scene should make sure doors and windows are properly sealed. Storm Team 44 meteorologist Gunnar Console takes a look at the radar to break down the air quality for us. Gunnar?
Yeah, and as we wrap up and talk about that air quality, first we need to see where that's happening. You can see the smoke is just shooting up into the sky throughout the entire day. And even though this plume of smoke looks to be heading in one direction, the particulate matter that it's shooting is going in every direction. And as a result, we're seeing poor air quality. Now, this is a live look at the scene right now. You can see some steam vents from out some industrial plants, but behind it you can see black smoke that is associated with that fire. You can even see the red hue to that fire out there. Currently blowing a lot of smoke, and as we zoom in on the radar, you can see that we are seeing some smoke leaving the area, going to the north and impacting areas like the airport. So the airport EVV is right there, and you can see the smoke begins right there, heads up towards the Country Club Meadows, so moving towards Dromstad, and it's going to be producing smoke throughout the entire area, but impacting air quality throughout much of the heart of the tri-state, because even though the smoke is rising, the air pollution that it is shooting out, like the ash and the plastic particles shooting throughout, impacting Henderson, Morganfield, Evansville, Princeton. So maybe not wanting to celebrate New Year's Eve outside tonight because of that air quality concerns, as it is moderate to unhealthy, especially if you are exactly next to it. So we are tracking smoky conditions. There is a bit of fog expected tonight as well, but it looks to be a mild start to 2023, and then we are tracking some bumpy weather as we head into the first work week of the new year. I'll be giving you a little bit more of a rundown on that coming up.
Okay, thank you, Gunnar. Just 2 months ago, Evansville firefighters battled a similar blaze on Morton Avenue after flames broke out at a historic warehouse. Back in October, the fire broke out early in the morning, but hotspots didn't die out until several days later. The cause for the Morton Avenue blaze is still under investigation. And as we continue to make calls and learn more details on this fire, stick with 44 News on air and online. Now here's another live look of the North Garvin Street fire. We will check back in with 44 News evening anchor Brian Miller after the break.